Like, guys, seriously, guys, this is so freaking fast. Hey, it's Chris, and I've got a friendly reminder for you guys today that when it comes to electric skateboards, if you're not rolling on carbon, then you're really just carbon that's rolling. What? So yes, today I've got a review of the Halo Board Carbon Edition, and it is no overstatement to say I love this thing. I love it. So let's get started with the design because that's where this thing gets its name in the first place. So forget about bamboo decks or wooden decks at all actually, because this thing is made out of what the company calls indestructible carbon fiber. So despite being called indestructible, I didn't exactly try to destroy this thing because it retails for $1,500, even though you can get it for like $300 or $400 off right now if you go check it out on the website. But still, it's not something that I wanted to do. I didn't feel like trying to destroy it, but it's nice to know that it's that durable. I mean, carbon fiber is so strong. I don't know about you guys, but I really like the way this thing looks. So there's no orange wheels here. It's doing its own thing, and the all black look, like you can't go wrong with that. It looks really, really awesome. If you look at this thing from the side profile, it looks really sleek, and that's because the battery pack and all the components are really distributed evenly. There's not like one giant battery pack or component hanging down on the sides, for instance. And of course that's great if you go over something like a huge bump because then you just have that much more clearance. Also, the dual motor system is in hub, and so that contributes to this being less bulky looking because everything's just kind of stealthy and hidden away. Now you might have noticed that there's a handle at the back of the board, and this was such a cool thing for them to include for a couple different reasons. Number one, I love being able to just hop off the board, letting it cruise up a little, catch it by the handle, pick it up, and it's such a great way to transition into walking or just going wherever you're going next. Number two, an adult can pick this board up by the handle without it dragging on the ground, so the height of the board makes it perfect for carrying with this handle design. So far we've only been talking about the design, but I think you can already see that this product really differentiates itself from the other electric boards out there. But it also goes toe-to-toe, at least on paper in terms of specs, with the performance of the world's most popular electric skateboard, the Boosted Dual Plus. Both have a rated speed of 22 miles per hour and a rated range of 12 miles. And both can go up grades of 25% to help you get up those steep hills. Now specs are one thing, but real world performance, that's a totally different animal. And I have to say that in the real world, this thing hauls. Like guys, seriously, guys, this is so freaking fast. So e-boards typically have different speed modes, and this one has two. There's one that's really slow and one that's really fast. The slow mode is obviously geared towards beginners, and thinking back, if I was just learning how to ride one of these, this is the board and this is the mode that I would want to learn on. That's because it's just super chill and the speed is perfect for learning how to ride. The slow mode though, it is useful even for like pro riders because there's always times when it's like a really crowded area and you're just not in the mood to play people bowling. The fast mode and all that speed, it is really awesome, but I kind of wish that there was like an in-between mode because I could see that coming in handy from time to time. Brakes are obviously one of the most important things on an electric skateboard, and I'm really liking the feel of the brakes on this Carbon Edition. The first day that I rode the board, the brakes were actually kind of loud, but that turned out to be just kind of temporary and it was the board breaking itself in. Now the brakes are nice and quiet, and I'd actually call them very responsive, but also very strong. So here's an example. I was going down a pretty steep hill the other day and a car was coming up at me. Some kids were unloading from a minivan over here, so I needed to slow down. And so I locked down on the brakes and I came to almost a standstill, even on this really steep hill. So yeah, these brakes work really good. Sometimes I actually find when I'm reviewing products, it's not the big features that are advertised that make it so awesome. In this case, those obviously count, but there was one feature that I was testing out the other day that is never mentioned anywhere on the website that I've come to love. And that's the way that this board handles acceleration. With a lot of boards, you really have to be prepared when you take your finger off the acceleration so that you don't go flying in the opposite direction because there's kind of a jolt. But with this board, when you take your finger off the acceleration, you don't have to brace at all. It's just a super smooth transition, and I love that. And that brings me to the handling. Like, how many times am I allowed to say I love something in a single video? Because I love the way that this board handles. Like seriously, it's ultra responsive, and it's also comfortable to ride. In fact, I'd call this the best handling board that has a motor that I've ever been on. And no, that doesn't include the Boosted because I've never wanted to send me one for review, but I would like to compare these two because man, This thing is so nice. The remote is okay. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible. It just gets the job done. Like so many electric boards, the quality of the remote doesn't really match up with the quality of the board. It just feels kind of cheap and light and plasticky. Now, in absolutely no way should the remote keep you from buying this board. I'm just saying. Right now, guys, this has basically become my new Xbox. What does that mean? That means this is what I want to do in my free time. Just take the board out and keep riding and riding and riding. It's so fun. Like in my head, I'm just coming up with excuses to take this out for a ride. Instead of going on a location shoot and packing things up in the car, it's like just pack up a backpack and head out with the board. Hey, if you're new around here, I did write a book recently, so you should check that out. The link is down in the description. I'm usually hanging out on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, so it'd be great to connect with you there. I'm at Daily Tech, spelled Daily, Tekk, in all of those places, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.